The streets of Los Angeles were alive with the usual chaos: horns honking, pedestrians weaving between cars, the distant hum of a city that never truly slept. The air was thick with the sounds of the modern world, the constant drone of conversations, the shuffle of feet on the pavement, and the hurried clacking of heels on concrete. Amidst the hustle and bustle, one figure stood out, disheveled, tired, and unnoticed by most. His clothes, once vibrant, now faded and torn. His hair matted, eyes dull with years of struggle. His hands, calloused and worn, held a cardboard sign that read, "Spare change for a better tomorrow." The homeless man stood at the corner, leaning against a crumbling brick wall. His body was thin, gaunt even, as though life had slowly drained him of all vitality. Yet, despite his circumstances, his eyes burned with a quiet intensity, as if he still believed that one day things would change. Today, he stood with hope. Elon Musk, a man whose very name was synonymous with innovation, approached the intersection on foot, casually making his way through the crowded street. His sharp suit, contrasting with the chaotic surroundings, was a symbol of his success and power. Yet, as he walked, his mind seemed elsewhere, burdened with the weight of decisions and responsibilities far beyond what most could comprehend. As he neared the corner, the homeless man locked eyes with him. Without hesitation, he stepped forward, his voice rough from disuse but steady. "Excuse me, sir," he called, his hand outstretched. "Could you spare some change?" Elon stopped, taken aback. He looked at the man, and for a brief moment, their gazes met. In that instant, a wave of unease washed over him. Should he simply give the man a few bills, or was there something more here? He stood still, pondering his next move, his mind torn between empathy and practicality. The streets seemed to grow quieter as the homeless man's eyes, filled with an emotion that Elon couldn't quite place, locked onto his. The request, though simple on the surface, was delivered with a rawness that made the moment feel heavier than it should have been. "Sir, I'm not asking for just spare change," the man continued, his voice rough but unwavering. "I'm asking for something more. I need help. Real help." Elon blinked, caught off guard by the man's directness. Most would have been content with a few dollars, maybe a sandwich or some coffee. But this was different. There was something in his tone, something in his eyes that pulled at Elon's chest, like a silent plea for understanding. "I don't need money. I need a chance," the man said, as if reading Elon's thoughts. "A real chance to make something of myself. I've been wandering these streets for too long, stuck in a cycle I can't break. But I've heard of you. I know what you're doing. What you've done." Elon was taken aback. He didn't expect the man to even recognize him, let alone know his work. How could someone in this situation know anything about SpaceX, Tesla, or the missions he was undertaking to push humanity forward? But the homeless man wasn't done. He took a step closer, his voice now more intense, more urgent. "Fate brought me here today," he said, his eyes searching Elon's face. "You're the one I've been waiting for. I know you can help. I know you can see potential in me, just like you see potential in everything else." Elon's heart skipped a beat. A rush of confusion, disbelief, and curiosity flooded him. Was this man serious? Or was he just another soul grasping for something that couldn't be given? A flashback hit Elon like a sudden gust of wind. He remembered a similar feeling years ago, when he had been struggling to start Tesla, when people laughed at his ideas, when he was scraping for every penny just to keep the dream alive. He had been helped by those who believed in his vision, those who had seen something in him that others didn't. Was this man reaching out for the same thing? Was there some kind of unspoken connection between them? A cold shiver ran down Elon's spine. It felt almost like destiny. Why me? Elon asked, his voice quieter now, reflecting the weight of the question. Why me, of all people? There are millions of others out there who have the means to help. The man's face softened for a moment, and a faint smile tugged at his lips. I didn't choose you, he said. I believe fate chose you. And maybe I've been waiting for someone like you all my life. Maybe you're the key to turning my life around, just as you've turned your life around and countless others. The words hung in the air between them, heavy and meaningful. Crowd continued to bustle around them, unaware of the connection, of the quiet exchange taking place. Elon took a slow breath, the weight of the request settling in his chest. This wasn't just about money. This was something bigger, something that spoke to him on a level he couldn't fully grasp. All right, Elon said, his voice firm yet filled with uncertainty. Tell me what you really need. For a brief moment, the homeless man's face lit up with something Elon hadn't seen in a long time: hope. Elon stood there, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts, the bustling noise of the city around him almost muted. His eyes lingered on the homeless man, whose face was now etched with anticipation. The question that had been posed to him wasn't just about spare change. It was about something much deeper, something that made Elon feel both uncomfortable and strangely compelled to act. What am I supposed to do here? For a brief moment, Elon allowed himself to take a step back, mentally distancing himself from the situation. He thought about the billions he had accumulated, the wealth, the power, the companies he'd built. He had reached heights most could only dream of. But as his gaze drifted over the homeless man's weathered face, something gnawed at him. How did I get here? Elon thought back to the days when he was struggling, when he was scrounging for funds, trying to convince people that his ideas had merit when he had no guarantees, no safety net. He had faced rejection after rejection, but he had kept going, driven by an insatiable need to build something meaningful, something that would change the world. He couldn't deny that there had been people who had believed in him along the way. People who had seen the potential in his ideas when others had laughed at him. But now, standing on this street corner, he realized that the tables had turned. What if this man just needs someone to believe in him? Elon glanced at his watch, aware of the constant demands on his time. The thought of helping the man was appealing in a way, but it also felt like a huge responsibility, a weight that could change the course of his day and maybe his life. He thought of how many others he passed on the street, all with their own stories, their own needs. Was he meant to help everyone? He shifted uncomfortably, his mind battling between two opposing forces. One part of him, the logical, rational part, wanted to just hand over a few dollars, move on, and get back to his day. It was the easiest solution, the one that would require the least effort. He had done it before, countless times. But this time, something felt different. What if I could do more? A part of him wanted to give the man a real chance, the chance he had been given all those years ago. But could he? Would it be enough? Could one act of kindness truly alter the course of someone's life? What does wealth really mean if I don't use it to help those in need? The thought lingered in his mind, taunting him. He was in a position to make a real difference. The question wasn't about money. It was about something much deeper, about purpose and the legacy he wanted to leave behind. Isn't that what I've always been about? Helping people, helping humanity? His heart raced slightly as he realized the true weight of the decision before him. This wasn't just about helping one man. It was about what kind of person he wanted to be, someone who simply moved past the problem, or someone who tried to change the world, one life at a time. What if this is my moment to do something truly meaningful? Elon exhaled deeply, his decision beginning to crystallize. But he wasn't sure yet. There was still doubt lingering in his mind. The pressure of the world weighed heavily on his shoulders. But in this moment, there was only one thing that mattered. What would he choose to do? The homeless man stood silently, waiting, his eyes filled with a quiet hope that seemed to only grow stronger. This isn't about money, Elon, he thought to himself. It's about something more. And I think it's time to take that step. But what step? Elon stood there, lost in thought for what felt like an eternity. The noise of the city had faded into the background, leaving only the sound of his own heartbeat and the quiet anticipation hanging between him and the homeless man. The man's hand was still outstretched, waiting for a response, but Elon's mind was working through something entirely different. He wasn't going to give money. That was too easy, too transactional. This was a moment that felt bigger than a few crumpled bills. There was something in the homeless man's eyes, something that spoke of unfulfilled potential, untapped dreams, and a life that had been marred by circumstance rather than choice. What if? What if I could offer him a way out? Elon took a slow breath and, without looking away, said, I can't just give you money, but I can offer you something that might change your life. The homeless man blinked, confusion flashing in his eyes. What? What do you mean? Elon tilted his head slightly, his voice steady, but with an edge of determination. I'm not here to make a simple donation. I'm offering you a real chance, a way to start over. A job. A chance to learn, to build something for yourself. You don't have to live like this anymore. You don't have to wait for a miracle. The words seemed to hang in the air, heavy with the promise of something profound. The homeless man recoiled slightly, his expression a mixture of disbelief and wariness. A job? He repeated, as though the word was foreign to him. You're serious? I don't even know where to start. How could I ever? I'll help you, Elon interrupted, stepping forward. You've got the determination. I can see it. And that's all you need. I can offer you an opportunity to work at one of my companies, starting small. But it'll be a start, a real chance to rebuild your life. The homeless man took a step back, his gaze flickering between Elon and the street around him. It was as though his brain couldn't fully process what was happening. But I've been on the streets for so long, he stammered. I don't even know how to live, how to act, how to work. I've forgotten what it's like to be a part of something. I don't even know if I'm worth that kind of chance. Elon paused, looking at him with a mix of understanding and quiet resolve. You don't have to have all the answers right now. It's about taking that first step. You're worth it. Everyone deserves a chance. The homeless man's face twisted into a mixture of hope and doubt. His eyes lowered to the ground, his mind racing. Could this be real? Could someone like him really be offered something like this? For years, he had seen the world as an unchangeable, cold place. Every person he had met had been indifferent, or worse, dismissive. The dream of getting out had always seemed impossible, so he had stopped believing in it. But now there was this man, this stranger, offering him something more than just the bare minimum. He was offering him a chance. A flicker of something in the homeless man's chest stirred hope. It was fragile, like a small flame in a windstorm, but it was there. His hands shook slightly, and for a moment he couldn't speak. He opened his mouth, closed it again, as if words had abandoned him. What if this is just another false hope? He thought. What if I fail again? But then, a deep part of him, buried under layers of self-doubt, whispered a question that stopped him cold. What if this is the moment that changes everything? I don't know what to say, the man finally muttered, his voice barely audible. I never thought someone like you would even notice someone like me. Elon smiled gently, an unexpected warmth in his eyes. I noticed you because I believe in second chances. I believe in people who haven't given up, no matter how far they've fallen. For a long moment, the homeless man just stood there, staring at Elon, his mind torn between disbelief and cautious hope. He had been so used to rejection, to being ignored, that this offer felt too surreal to be true. But something inside him stirred, something that hadn't felt alive in years. Slowly, he raised his head, meeting Elon's gaze with a mix of gratitude and vulnerability. Okay, he whispered. Okay, I'll try. I'll take that chance. Elon nodded, a look of quiet satisfaction crossing his face. Good. It's a start. That's all. Anyone needs a start. And with that, something shifted in the air around them. The world around them resumed, but for those few moments, the homeless man and Elon Musk shared something rare, a moment of pure possibility. The tension that had hung in the air dissipated, replaced with the weight of a decision that had the power to change the course of two lives forever. Elon led the homeless man down the street, away from the noise of the bustling city and into a quiet cafe tucked between two buildings. The smell of freshly brewed coffee and warm pastries filled the air, offering a stark contrast to the coldness of the street. The man seemed hesitant, his eyes darting around, as if unsure of what to make of this new world he was entering. Elon, on the other hand, seemed entirely at ease. He had a quiet confidence, as if he had been in this situation countless times before. They found a small table by the window, and Elon gestured for the man to sit down. The homeless man hesitated for a moment, before lowering himself into the chair, still unsure whether he had truly stepped into a new chapter of his life, or if this was just another fleeting moment of false hope. Elon sat across from him, his eyes focused, waiting. So, what's your name? Elon asked, breaking the silence. The man looked down at his hands, a slight tremor in his voice. Sam, he said. Sam Jenkins. Elon Musk, Elon replied with a smile. Nice to meet you, Sam. For a few moments, neither of them spoke. The quiet hum of conversation around them seemed distant, as if they were in their own little world. Elon watched Sam, his eyes studying the man across from him, wondering about the life that had led him to this point. And yet, there was something in Sam's eyes, a spark that Elon couldn't quite place. So, Elon began, leaning in slightly, what kind of work do you think you'd be interested in? Sam shifted in his seat, his gaze wandering. I don't know. I've done odd jobs here and there. Nothing permanent. I don't really have any skills that would be useful to someone like you. Elon raised an eyebrow. I don't believe that for a second. Everyone has something they can offer. Sam's shoulders slumped. I don't know what I have left. But I've spent my life thinking about things, about the world, about ideas. I don't know if they're any good, but I have always thought about problems, you know. Elon's interest peaked. What kind of problems? Sam's eyes seemed to light up for the first time since they'd met. Problems with efficiency, with how things work. Like, why do we have so much waste? I've thought about how to make things better, smarter. I've been homeless for years, but I've had the time to think about what's wrong with the systems we live in. Elon leaned forward, his curiosity growing. Tell me more. Sam took a deep breath, as if gathering his thoughts. It's like the world is broken in ways that people don't even notice. People don't think about the systems behind the systems. Everything is so inefficient. I've seen it on the streets, how resources are wasted, how energy is spent in the wrong places. It's not just about making money or being successful. It's about creating a world that works better for everyone. Elon was silent for a moment, letting Sam's words sink in. There was something about the way Sam spoke that struck a chord with him. It wasn't just talk. It was insight, a deep understanding of the world's flaws. Elon had always been driven by a desire to solve the world's biggest problems, to push humanity forward. But here was a man who, despite having so little, had spent his time thinking about those very issues. "Sam," Elon said slowly, "you've got an incredible mind. You see things in ways most people don't. Have you ever thought about working in innovation? Maybe coming up with your own solutions, starting your own company?" Sam's eyes widened, the words sinking in slowly. You're serious? You think I could do something like that?" Elon smiled. "I don't just think it, I know it. The world needs more people who think like you." In that moment, both men understood something profound. Sam wasn't just a homeless man who had been given a chance. He was someone with the potential to change the world in his own way. And Elon, for all his success and wealth, realized that he, too, was searching for something more, something that went beyond technology and business. He was searching for the human spark, the insight that could change everything. For Sam, this was the moment that would change the course of his life. For Elon, it was the realization that sometimes the most profound innovations come from the unlikeliest of places. As they sat there, the world outside seemed to pause. The beginning of something new had just started for both of them. A new path had opened, not just for Sam, but for Elon as well. And the journey they would take together had just begun. Months had passed since that fateful meeting in the cafe, and Sam's life had transformed in ways he never thought possible. What began as an unexpected encounter with Elon Musk had blossomed into a partnership that was now changing everything for him. He was no longer the homeless man wandering the streets, forgotten by society. He was someone with purpose, someone building a future. And it was all thanks to that single conversation, a conversation that had ignited something within him. Elon had kept his promise. He didn't just offer Sam a job. He had offered him a path forward. Sam was now working at one of Elon's companies, contributing ideas that challenged even the most seasoned engineers. His mind, which had once been clouded by the hopelessness of his circumstances, was now free to roam and explore solutions to the world's problems. Every day, Sam felt the weight of his transformation, and he carried it with a quiet pride. But more than the work, it was the support that had mattered most. Elon didn't just treat Sam like an employee, he treated him as an equal, encouraging him to share his ideas, to think critically, to challenge the status quo. That level of respect was something Sam had never experienced before. He was learning not just how to survive, but how to thrive. One evening, after a particularly long day at the office, Sam stood on the rooftop of the building where he worked, staring out over the city skyline. It was a beautiful sight, one he had never truly appreciated before. The city, once a symbol of chaos and neglect, now felt like a canvas, waiting to be painted with new possibilities. As he gazed out, Elon joined him, standing silently at his side. After a long moment, Elon spoke, his voice carrying the weight of shared understanding. "You've come a long way, Sam. I knew there was something special about you from the start." Sam turned to him, his eyes reflecting gratitude. "I never imagined I'd be here. I never imagined this life was possible. Thank you." Elon nodded, a soft smile forming on his lips. "You did the hard part. You took that first step. I just helped you see what you're capable of." Sam's voice trembled slightly, but there was a strength in it now. I didn't know I had it in me. Elon's eyes locked with his. Everyone has it in them. Sometimes it just takes the right person to see it. As they stood there in silence, a deep sense of fulfillment settled over both of them. Sam had found a new life, and Elon had found a new purpose, not just in his work, but in the people he helped along the way. But just as the scene seemed to reach its perfect conclusion, a thought lingered in the air, a question that could never truly be answered. Did this really happen, or was it a fleeting moment of kindness that in its own way changed everything? The answer, perhaps, didn't matter. What mattered was that it had happened. And for Sam, that was all that truly mattered. Elon Musk stood in front of the camera, the soft hum of the office filling the silence. His gaze was thoughtful, almost introspective, as if the story of Sam had left a deeper mark on him than he had expected. He spoke slowly, choosing his words with care, knowing that the message he shared would resonate far beyond the walls of his company. When I first met Sam, I didn't know what to expect. He was a man without a home, someone whom society had largely forgotten. But what I didn't realize was that in his story was something incredibly valuable, a mind capable of great things. A mind just waiting for the right opportunity to shine. He paused, letting the words settle. Sometimes we think of success in terms of wealth or fame, but true success is about lifting others up. It's about kindness, those unexpected acts of generosity that remind us of our shared humanity. It's easy to forget that one small gesture can change someone's life. It can change ours, too. Elon's eyes met the camera, a silent challenge in them. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Could this happen in real life? I believe it can. And I hope that, just like me, you'll be open to the possibility of seeing greatness in the most unexpected places.